So in my last video, I explained a little bit about how I create the blog on WordPress. I also mentioned something called Yoast SEO, which is a plugin that helps create much better SEO on the page and lets you use some key features that are used in SEO. So the first up here says focus key phrase. So in here, you can post some of your keywords, potentially the most important keywords. Obviously, there's going to be quite a few, but you kind of want to keep it as concise as possible. Obviously, there's quite a lot in my blog, quite a different array of keywords. So I've put in International Women's Day, broadcast, streaming, break the bias, tech and industry. And down here we can add an SEO title, a slug, and a meta description. Now, the SEO title, we never tend to change that. We leave that as it is. The slug, however, is the same thing as up here. It's the permalink for your blog, the one that's going to show up on the search engine. And again, it's just the title of the blog with those keywords in there. The meta description is also quite an important one. So in here, we have to leave a very concise, maybe one sentence describing the blog and getting some of those keywords in there. I tend to pick a sentence from the blog that I think has some definite keywords in there, and then maybe alter it slightly to fit within this little box down here. You don't get very many words or characters, so you have to be concise and get those keywords in there. So in here, we can see some of those keywords. We've got bias, breaking the bias, women, broadcast, streaming, and tech. So that matches up quite nicely with what we've got up here. As you can see, the meta description is green. It'll tell me that it's green down here. If I were to keep typing, it then goes to orange. And if I were to keep going and going and going, it would turn red. So you know that you've got a really good meta description when it comes up green. And this is probably the most reliable part of Yoast SEO because you can see the preview up here. I can see the title of the blog. It's not being cut off. And I can see the meta description just here as well. So the SEO title, we don't tend to change that. We leave it as the title of the blog page, which is what comes up here. The page, the separator, and the site title. So because the title of the blog is quite long, making sure that we got those keywords in there, you can't see it, but in here it would say the RDK podcast, and that's on the mobile result. You can also check the desktop result. You can scroll across here. You can tell that it is quite a long blog post, but we can see that those three main keywords are in there before we get to the end here. So that's fine. We've also got the keywords here, which are highlighted: bias, broadcast, and streaming tech. One other important part to mention is that I have used some outbound links on the blog as well to help with the SEO, where I've got the names and the job titles of my interviewees down the bottom. I've added in their LinkedIns so people can find them themselves and go to their LinkedIn profile, connect with them, ask them more questions, and network with them. Now, that means that we've got 3 outbound links here, which is really great. This will help with the SEO as well. External links do improve your SEO. They help the search engines to kind of find out how useful your blog is. And obviously, too many outbound links is probably going to turn them off a little bit. They're going to think, well, it's too much. But if you have a good amount of outbound links, it will boost the quality of your page and the search engines will boost you up as well.